Hey, Michelle.
Hi, Mark.
Hey, it's time to take a look at the October numbers. Santa Clara County, how'd things go this month?
Well, we're going to talk about that fall bounce back. I'd been around town, Mark, talking about, we've seen this prices rebound a lot in October. So we'll talk about whether that happened or not.
Okay.
We'll talk about some of the sales cycle, information. So closed sales and just kind of how we are. And then, competitiveness, still a big thing. So we'll talk about sale to list price ratios in the different cities. So let's jump in with the median sale price. And yeah, it happened again. So I know you want to like name it, but it's not really a phenomena. It's just something that we've seen happen. So at least since 2015, right? Every October, we've seen the median price go up in Santa Clara County. It's not much of an increase. It's 0.6%, so not quite 1%. But last month was a little over 2%. So we're seeing, quite, 3% or so increase over the last sorry, it decreased 2%. So we see a little bit of a bounce back, but still relatively very high if you look at the right-hand side of the graph versus the left-hand side of the graph. So we're still seeing a ton of price appreciation. It's been almost 20%, 19.1% in terms of year to date. And so if you think about, wow, talking to your clients about an investment, there it is. This is pretty interesting, especially for the time of year, right? So there were quite a few cities that were had a higher median price in October than they did in September. So this list is pretty significant here. I mean, Campbell, I think that looks like an all-time high price. Los Gatos up after 3 months of declines. I think even Morgan Hill, that might be an all-time high price. Actually, I put in my notes, not even close. So I'm pretty confident on that one. In Morgan Hill, the next highest price was 1.32 million in February of 2021. So wow, down there in the south part of the county. Los Altos, I believe, might be an all-time high numbers. Second straight month of increasing median prices. And then as you round it out, you look at Saratoga. Man, volatile, right? Volatile for the last 4 or 5 months, just kind of been up and down all over the place. So there's a lot going on. San Jose's kind of holding steady. I don't know if we would expect more of like this chart where we'd see, prices decline, but it was really mixed. So where it was high, it was really high. How many times did I say all time on that last one? But in this case, this is kind of more the end of the year type of thing where we do see prices come down a little bit, not always. And in some cases, like Los Altos Hills, the median price hadn't been that low since March of this year, right? So we're seeing some of those earlier in the year numbers. Big correction in Monte Sereno, but that was coming off a 3+ year high. It's February 2018 number. Palo Alto has been volatile, but still up generally higher than we saw last year. It was kind of rough. 2020 was pretty low in regard to prices there. Santa Clara, lowest median price since January of this year. So again, some of that winter stuff, and Mountain View, 2 months of decline, but off that all-time high in August. So you kind of got to think that some of these, cities are going to have a little bit of a regression or softening, just coming off some of these summer and fall prices. Now, in terms of the common interest market, look at that, literally off the charts. So our chart stops at 900. We're climbing to 925 there. That's 1.6% increase from September a year ago. That's up 12.8% from a year ago compared to last October, and 11% increase since the beginning of the year. So we really see that common interest market bouncing back. And here you see within the cities where specifically we saw that price appreciation, comparing October to September, right? So very short-term view, but look at some of this momentum. Saratoga on the top of the list there, that's not the highest price this year, but we've seen 2 months of increases. Cupertino, I think that might be an all-time high price, at least since 2018. Sunnyvale, Santa Clara, Palo Alto, Los Gatos, all have been really volatile for the past several months. If you look back, it's kind of hard to put any kind of, I like to say something about these markets. It's really tough when they're just moving around a lot. And then Campbell down after 2 months of increases in that common interest market. So it just really depends on where you are. I mean, I think, when people are talking about like softening and declining, I think they're mostly referencing the sales cycle, because this is the closed sales over the last couple of years. And we can see here there was a small decrease, right? Less than 1%, 0.54% decrease from September to October, right? So, there's still quite a bit. I mean, look at the right-hand side of the graph compared to prior years. It was a really good October. it's just, this is part of our normal cycle. So we did see decreases. The interesting part is in Santa Clara County, where you could see there were quite a few cities where October had more closed sales than September, and by a lot. So I'd expect maybe 1.25%. And you can see that at the bottom of the list there. But look at those cities at the top. I mean, Morgan Hill back up, a few months of declines, and now this. Mountain View, Los Altos up over September, but the months before that had been declining, so those kind of got a little bit hotter. Last month, Campbell, third straight month of increased closed sales. So some cities are kind of a bounce back after declines. Campbell's the opposite. In Campbell, that's the highest number of closed sales in any one month since at least 2018, right? So that's a big month there. Palo Alto, second straight month of increased sales. And San Jose and Santa Clara, just hanging in there, but really consistent over the past 3 months. So there's quite a bit of sales. Look at this, a small list of where there were fewer sales in October than September. And when you look at it, I mean, Los Altos Hills, that's a pretty big decline, but 18 was a big month for Los Altos Hills. So just, unable to sustain that. Cupertino, that's the lowest number of closed sales since January. So of this year. So, right, we're seeing some of those winter numbers. And Los Gatos really consistent for the past 4 months regarding, in regard to closed sales. So just down a little bit, but it's been hanging in there with a lot of closed sales for the time being. In the common interest market, there's 479 closed sales in October. So there were quite a few. Saratoga, 6 is a lot. I mean, 7 or 8 is the most we usually see in this market. So that was a lot. Palo Alto has been pretty volatile over the past 5 months. When I look back, it's like, is that a big number? I'm trying to provide relative content here for you guys. And it's like, it's just been volatile. It's hard to know. Santa Clara, the city, has been really interesting. For the past 8 months, it's been up and down each month, but it's had at least 43 sales, right? So there's quite a bit of activity happening in Santa Clara. Each month has been higher than any single month since 2018. So you see this volatility, but we're still seeing a great deal of closed sales, especially for this late in the year. I mean, take a look at the weeklies. This is the Aculist Weekly. This is all classes, and it's just going to give you an idea of what is happening by week. And so if you look at closed sales, so in the week, ending 10/30, we see that was a little bit lower, but we're trending really right on with certainly higher than 2019, and 2020 was really big this time of year. So we're still doing pretty well. I mean, there's a lot of sellers out there looking to sell their homes, and they're getting a good deal for them. I mean, this is the sale to list price ratio. What people are paying over ask on average, and it went up from 108 to 109. I mean, the sales to list price ratio has been 108 or higher for the last 8 months, right? So you're getting, that's why those sellers are out there, Mark. They're seeing good returns. I mean, look at this chart of the increase in sale to list price ratio. Now, again, short-term look, just September to October, but in October, the end of the year, you're going to see, I mean, these are substantially higher than 100% in most cases. And, I mean, I have my Los Altos Hills, the highest sale to list price ratio we've seen since 2018, maybe an all time. And there's tons of sales there too. So this is not on few properties. Mountain View hadn't seen this. So this Mountain View hadn't seen this since 122% in April of 2018. Remember that? We were like, there must have been a problem here. No, I mean, we're just seeing high competitiveness. Palo Alto, highest sale to list price since May of 2018, and Campbell up big, and also with that high price. Cupertino, highest since April of 2018. These are big numbers. Saratoga and Santa Clara have been really consistent for the past few months. We're just seeing a lot of competitiveness in the market. There was only 2 cities that decreased, and by 1%. That would have been a fun slide to have them all be positive. But here's where your buyers get a little bit of a break. I mean, Los Altos has been really consistent, lots higher than we've seen over the past couple of years. So Morgan Hill is well down, but it's been really competitive over the past few months. So just a smidge of a decrease. And the last slide here, in terms of the sale to list price ratio for the common interest, the county bounced up from 103 to 104. And so we're seeing, even in the common interest market, a lot of competitiveness. Palo Alto, the highest number since February 2020, so it's been about a year. Cupertino up after 3 straight months of declines. Sunnyvale has been at 103 or higher since February, right? So, and then also Los Gatos, Campbell, Los Altos down in price. So interestingly, we're at the bottom of the list where you're seeing a little bit of backing off. Well, we also saw it in price by and large. But I mean, Mark, the story is there's still a lot to see out there. There is a lot to share, so we're excited to be here to, talk about these numbers and let everybody know what's going on out there.
And I still have to come up with a catchy name for that fall bump. Right, we've had it in this number of years in a row. It deserves a good name. Hey, Michelle, your numbers are always incredibly valuable, but your analysis and commentary is sort of the frosting on that cake. So thank you. Hey, we've got another office hours event coming up for November, going to be what is next Thursday, November 18th, 1 o'clock. Come on down, ask any question you want, listing management, rules, stats, if you want. But we do have a topic we want to talk about, right, at office hours.
Yeah, I would say check the pro banner, and it's not
Okay.
recorded, so you can't be like you can't miss it and then watch it. We just answer questions. No one has to be on camera. It's very very casual,
Pretty
environment.
casual,
So
yeah.
join us for office hours. We are going to talk about MLS Listings Live we had with our partner economist, Dr. Elliot Eisenberg. I'm going to highlight some of his highlights
Okay.
from the highlight of Q3, but we're going to talk about, he talked about 2021. He talked about some ideas he has for 2022. So I'll try to sneak that in, but surely we're going to just answer questions. And if anyone's just interested in Dr. Elliot Eisenberg, that did get recorded. So that is available on YouTube. So just go to youtube.com, type in MLS Listings. It's going to be a video that you can watch. He answered questions, and I thought it went really well. So check that out too.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's overly valuable, but there's a guy who did some predictions for 2021 and pretty well nailed it. Solid.
He did a great job. He did a great job.
So,
yeah. And we tell him that, right?
Yeah. So come on in and let's find out what happens in 2022 before we get there. So Michelle, thank you very much for your time. Always fun to work with you. We'll be back later.
Appreciate it, Mark.
Make sure to check out our pro support page for additional videos on a full range of topics. And don't forget to click that subscribe button on our MLS Listings YouTube page.